Hey guys, welcome to a new episode. We are in Iowa City, home base, one of my home bases. Working on this RV. Beautiful airplane. It's got a really cool paint scheme. It just came off a 4.5-hour flight, so we're going to do some cleaning. It's actually surprisingly clean for a 4.5-hour flight in the summer. We're going to clean it first, then I'll show you up close some of the paint issues. The paint looks really nice, but it can look better, so we're going to make it look better. Then we're going to ceramic coat it so it's easy to clean, easy to maintain, so all the work we put into paint correction is protected. Then we're going to clean the leather, we're going to coat the leather, then the spinner is removed, we're going to polish that as well, and that's just easier to do when you don't actually have to work around the screws and propeller and all that stuff. So lots of stuff, small plane, big job. Let's go. So as you might expect from a long flight, there's some bugs, actually not a lot of bugs, but just enough bugs to show you how I like to clean them off. So we got Release Ultra and our foamer. Spray it on, walk away, foam something else, have a coffee break, I don't know, just let it sit on there. Basically these bugs have to get rehydrated because they dry up. So as the bugs are loosening up, you know, we have the foam dwelling on there and increasing the amount of time. We can also just spray no rinse on there, let it soak and then wipe. The foam just stays on there a little bit longer, but both are perfectly valid options. Nice microfiber towel, light pressure, straight lines, and whatever doesn't come off, we will just respray again, just because it needs more soaking time. You don't want to like start scrubbing on there all of a sudden, right? Because that would just cause scratches. So we'll just put some more foam on it, wait a little bit. Now, if you're doing this on a coated plane, it's going to come off easier, but I also still want you to use no rinse afterwards to get the soap residue off, because the coating covered in soap is now soap, it's not coating. Soap attracts water, coating repels water. So. This is a beautiful paint job. Metallic black, metallic blue, like pearl white that almost turns blue under the right light. It's really a shame that there's so many paint defects that are keeping it from reaching its full potential. So I've been doing some testing and working, and actually the whole right half of the plane is polished. Didn't film any of it because I wanted to figure out what I'm doing first. Basically, here's the problem. So we got paint that shows defects because it's darker, it's metallic, so everything shows on it. If this was white, wouldn't be as obvious. So we got that going for us. The paint is soft, so it like there's a lot of kind of line scratches from just washing, and actually I noticed too, if I wipe a little too hard, it is going to scratch. So we have soft paint, so we got a lot of scratches like that. We have buffing marks, we have sanding marks. In order of severity, like a hologram buffing marks, like very superficial usually. Then you have kind of wiping, washing type scratches, a little bit deeper. And then you have the sanding marks, which are the deepest. The one-step polish that I usually like to do, kind of a yellow pad, hyper polish, rotary, or on the Rupes, isn't really cutting it. It's removing those superficial scratches, which then only draws more attention to the sanding marks, or the more deeper scratches. So the one step isn't aggressive enough. Now, I could do a more aggressive one step using a wool pad on the rotary or a wool pad on the Rupes, which will remove those defects, but because it's soft paint, we're going to leave behind marring. So you kind of trade one defect for another defect, which in this case the marring is a more manageable defect. The plan then is going to be do a more aggressive one step with that wool, then come back over the whole thing, do a finishing polish to get rid of the micro marring or the holograms, I'm using both the rotary and the Rupes. It just depends. Some areas it's easier to use the Rupes, especially the wings where you have large areas. Some places where you need more precision near edges and things like that, the rotary works better. So I kind of use them interchangeably. But just for your entertainment and your entertainment only, we're going to do, since this shows so well, we're going to do a little test spot here. So I'll do the one step with the softer yellow pad, which is normally what we do on planes. That's usually what we do on like a Cirrus. It works really well on those. So we'll do that here. On this side, we'll do the more aggressive paint correction and show you the difference and kind of illustrate what I've been talking about here this whole time. Yellow pad, Rupes, hyper polish. This is our normal one-step success story, right? And you saw all the sanding marks in there. It's really loud when you don't have your headphones in. This side, we're going to do wool pad hyper polish. Alright, let's zoom in. So the challenge here is going to be showing you what I actually did. So this is before. Pretty obviously not as great as possible. Here, on this side, this was the kind of quick one-step polish. You can see relative to that side, yes, it looks better, but those deeper sanding marks are still in there. A lot of the superficial stuff is gone, but having the superficial stuff gone really just exposes more of the deeper scratches. Then on this side, the deeper stuff is gone, but it is still hazy, so that's kind of that micro marring. It's not as shiny as it could be. That's why we have to go back and do a follow-up step. So one more time, before, one step light, one step heavy. This is really much more like an automotive paint job. When I was working on cars, a lot more of this type of issue would happen. So it's a good experience. When I train people, I teach them how to polish soft car paint first before going into hard aircraft paint. So I start off with the rotary and a wool pad to do my initial kind of heavier cut. You can see the deep defects are gone and we're just left with some mild holograms. And like I said earlier, holograms are pretty easy to remove, so I'm not too worried about that. After major paint correction was done, I did some touch-up with paint that the pilot supplied. And then after that, we do our finishing polish. So we're back to the yellow pad and hyper polish and just getting rid of whatever holograms or micro marring we caused in the more aggressive first steps. Then, as you can imagine, alcohol wipe, ceramic coating. So the coating's wiped on, wiped off, and that blue just loved being coated. It looked absolutely amazing afterwards.